Good morning. In my last class, I talked about histamine. Histamine acts on certain H1 receptor, H receptors like H1 receptor, H2 receptors, H3 receptors, and H4 receptors. H1 receptors are found in smooth muscles and vascular endothelial cells, in brain and in CNS. It is known as H1 antagonist. Now H2 receptors, these are usually found in gastric parietal cells, and it increases gastric secretion. This will be discussed on GIT chapters. Third, H3 receptors. H3 receptors are autoreceptors and it is found in CNS. H4 receptors, these are found in thymus, spleen, leukocytes. H3 receptors and H4 receptors, their antagonists have no therapeutic uses, so it won't be discussed. Today my talk is on antihistaminic or H1 antagonist. H1 antagonist these drugs competitively antagonize the action of histamine at H1 receptors. The first generation antihistaminic was developed in 1930, and these antihistaminics used to penetrate blood-brain barrier and causes sedation. It also blocks anticholinergic properties. So there was need of second generation antihistaminic which should be non-sedating and it should not possess anticholinergic action. The second generation antihistaminic was developed in 1980 qualitatively, and all antihistaminics have similar action, but qualitatively they differ in its sedation effect. Now, pharmacological action of antihistaminics. It antagonizes the action of histamine by blocking histamine-induced bronchoconstriction and smooth muscle constriction. It also blocks triple response, which is due to dilatation of small vessels and increased permeability, which leads to triple response, and this antihistaminic blocks this effect. Fall in blood pressure. This is also blocked by antihistaminic as it blocks the dilatation effect of histamine. Animal death, this can be prevented by giving pre-treatment with H1 blockers. Next is adrenaline release. Histamine, it activates adrenal medulla and which releases adrenaline. So it blocks adrenaline release. Vasoconstriction of large blood vessels. Histamine causes vasoconstriction, hence vasoconstriction effect of blood vessels, large blood vessels is also blocked. And there is no action on gastric acid secretion as these are H2 receptors, so H1 receptor antagonist will not have any action on gastric acid secretion. Next pharmacological action is anti-allergic action. In immediate type of hyperreaction, that is type 1 reaction, the manifestation is suppressed due to antihistaminic. Fall in blood pressure is partially prevented. Asthma is unaffected as asthma is caused by leukotrienes and platelet activating factors, so antihistaminics have no role in controlling platelet activating factors and leukotrienes. Now, third pharmacological action on CNS, as it crosses blood-brain barrier, sedation due to high affinity of central H1 receptors. In some patients, this antihistaminics causes stimulant effect, and on toxic dose of antihistaminics, this may cause excitement and convulsion. Anti-motion sickness. If the antihistaminics are taken 1 hour before journey, then it helps in motion sickness. Morning sickness, it may be due to pregnancy or effect of any drugs or radiotherapy. Here also antihistaminics plays a role. Anticholinergic side effects, as it have action on muscarinic receptors, so it causes anticholinergic side effect. It decreases tremors, rigidity and sciatia. It also has antitussive action. Now, anticholinergic action, the antihistaminics may be of high grade, low grade or minimal or absent. In high grade, anticholinergics are promethazine, diphenhydramine, dimenhydrinate, pheniramine and cyproheptadine. In low grade anticholinergic effect, the drugs are chlorpheniramine, hydroxyzine, tripolidine and cyclizine. And where there is no anticholinergic action are usually second generation antihistaminics like fexofenadine, estemizole, loratadine, cetirizine, mesolastine. Now, next is local anesthetic action. This antihistaminics causes local anesthetic effect, but it is not used as it may cause irritation when given intravascular. Fall in blood pressure on intravenous injection. This blood pressure fall is blocked by antihistaminics. Now the difference between first generation antihistaminic and second generation antihistaminic. First generation, it is short or intermediate acting. Its action lasts for 4 to 6 hours, so it has to be given 4 hourly or 6 hourly. Whereas second generation antihistaminic, it is long acting, so it has to be given 12 hourly or 24 hourly. First generation cross blood-brain barrier, so it is more sedative. Whereas second generation, it does not cross blood-brain barrier, so there is no CNS effect and no sedative. Now, with first generation, there is antimuscarinic side effects, whereas second generation does not have any action on muscarinic receptors, so there is no antimuscarinic side effect. First generation, it acts both central and peripheral H1 receptors, whereas second generation acts only on peripheral H1 receptors. First generation antihistaminics impairs psychomotor performance, whereas there is no impairment in case of second generation, as it does not cross blood-brain barrier. First generation also has antipruritic, antiemetic and antitussive action, apart from anticholinergic and anti-Parkinsonism. Whereas second generation, only antihistaminic and anti-allergic like urticaria, dermographism, atopic eczema, food and drug allergy. Now, what are the first generation antihistaminics? These are classified according to its sedative action. So, it may be highly sedative. In highly sedative drugs are dimenhydrinate, diphenhydramine, doxylamine, hydroxyzine, promethazine. The adult dose are given here, and the duration of action is 4 to 6 hours. Whereas moderately sedative action of first generation antihistaminics are phenyramine, cyproheptadine, meclizine, buclizine and cinnarizine. Now, mild sedative. Mild sedative H1 antihistaminics are cyclizine, chlorpheniramine, dimetindene and tripolydine. The second generation antihistaminics are fexofenadine, loratadine, desloratadine, estemizole, cetirizine, levocetirizine, azilastine and avastine. Now, side effects and toxicity. Generally, the side effects and toxicity are seen in first generation antihistaminics, and these are: tolerance is developed on repeated use, there is sedation, decrease in alertness and concentration, headache, motor incoordination, fatigue and sleep, and there is also impaired psychomotor performance, therefore should not drive and operate machines. Anticholinergic effects like dryness of mouth, blurring of vision, and retention of urine. Overdose of first generation may cause excitation, muscular incoordination, respiratory and cardiac failure. Now these slides shows adverse effect of first generation and H1 antihistaminics. In CNS, it decreases alertness and cognition, learning, memory and psychomotor performance are all decreased with increased impairment with or without sedation. Muscarinic receptors, it causes dry mouth, urinary retention and sinus tachycardia. In serotonin receptors, it increases appetite, hence there is weight gain. In alpha adrenergic receptors, increase in dizziness and increase in postural hypotension. In cardiac ion channels, sodium and potassium, this increases Q2 interval and increases ventricular arrhythmia. As second generation does not cross blood-brain barrier and it does not have anticholinergic effect, so the side effects are minimum. Now the pharmacokinetics of H1 antihistaminics. Classical H1 antihistaminics are well absorbed from oral and parenteral routes, metabolized in the liver and excreted in urine, except meclizine, cetirizine and loratadine, which act for 12 to 24 hours or more. Now, therapeutic uses of H1 antagonist or H1 receptor antihistaminics. First use is in allergic disorders like itching, urticaria, hay fever, conjunctivitis, angioedema of lips and eyelids. Adrenaline is life-saving in laryngeal angioedema and anaphylactic shock. In seasonal asthma, cetirizine do have some role. In drug-induced hypersensitivity, there is a role of antihistaminic. In skin rashes also it is used. Ineffective in asthma, humoral and cell-mediated allergies. Suppresses urticaria and swelling in serum sickness, but not other components. Antipruritic action. Old antihistamines have antipruritic action, whereas second generation does not have this antipruritic action. Common cold, the older antihistaminics give symptomatic relief. Motion sickness, prophylactic value, and 1 hour before journey it should be given. And the molecules are promethazine, dimenhydrinate, cyclizine, and in morning sickness, promethazine. In vertigo, where H1 receptors, muscarinic receptors, and serotonin receptors are involved, so this blocks all the 3 receptors. Therefore, it is used in vertigo also, and the molecule is cinnarizine. Pre-anesthetic medication, that is promethazine. Now cough, older or first generation antihistaminic have symptomatic relief in cough. Parkinsonism, promethazine has some role in Parkinsonism. Acute muscle dystonia, antidopaminergic and antipsychotics have role. As sedative, hypnotic and anxiolytic, promethazine and hydroxyzine. These drugs should not be used below 2 years child. Cyproheptadine, that stimulates appetite. Dermographism, sting. There is a role of second generation antihistaminic and prophylactic value in blood and saline infusion rigor. Thank you.